I'd like to take a few moments to talk about our sum of the parts approach to purchasing a new home. And what we mean by the sum of the parts approach is actually when you're purchasing a new home, and especially if you're selling your existing home or the home that you're living in, either you're selling it or we're buying it and we're taking it into what we call our exit property program. You know, there's actually a lot of transactions that are going on here. It's not just a matter of selling a home and buying a new home. There are several basic transactions that create one larger transaction in each facet of that, and then together, it creates what we call the sum of the parts. And what we like to do is we like to take these two transactions and break them down into their more simpler terms and look at each facet of each one, optimize it, and make it the best that we can possibly make it, and then put it all back together to create a total package that really creates a lot of inherent value for you. And we found by taking this approach, it is amazing how much money and how much value that we can create just by breaking it all down, looking at it, wrapping our brains around it, and then putting it all together. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit and define it for you and explain what the sum of the parts are, so to give you a clearer picture of the approach that we're going to take. The first facet that I'd like to talk about in the sum of the parts approach is the exit property, or actually your current home. And we refer to it as the exit property. When we acquire the exit property or your current home, how this process works and how the values and what you get is determined is we actually order a current appraisal on the property. This appraisal is typically ordered through your mortgage lender, and it is a third-party independent appraiser. And the value is determined. It will come anywhere between 94 and 97% of the appraised value. But a few of the things that I'd like to point out about this is there are no commissions. The number that we quote you is the number that you get. There are no commissions, there's no fees, there are no closing costs. This is a net number to you, which is really a big deal. And when you take that and combine it with the fact that you don't have to move twice, you're not having to list your property, you're not having to deal with people coming in and out and looking at it. You don't run into the chance of, hey, what if your house sells quickly and then you're going to have to find another place to live while your new home is being constructed. There's so many things that make this a really great value for our customers. But this kind of gives you an idea of how this process works and how it goes together. And when we talk about some of the parts, naturally one of the first things that comes to mind is the purchase price of the new house. And again, we talked a little bit about that before in our phase building concept and how we want to offer you as much as we can for the value for that price. And so therefore we try and give you a good value on the sum of the parts. The next thing, that's the number one of the 8 in the sum of the parts. The next thing that comes to the sum of the parts is the cost to insure your home. And one of the things that we've done here, we've done a lot of research. We've working with insurance companies and talking to different insurance providers such as State Farm, Farmers, a lot of the nationals, as well as a lot of our local insurance providers, to see what they offer the most substantial discounts for. And what we found out is the number one item that you can receive a discount on your new home for is a Class 4 roof. So we provide, and we are the only builder in the area, and frankly in the nation that I know that does this on every home they build, that provides you with a Class 4 roof on your home. We also provide you with a security system and several other features that provide you with the maximum amount of discounts on your insurance. And it can be as much as 65%. A lot of our homes typically, would, without discounts, would be in the neighborhood of $1,300. Some of our new homes, or most of our new homes, are less than $700 a year to insure. So this can equate to as much as $50 to $60 a month in purchasing power. And what that does, that $50 to $60 a month in purchasing power, just by enhancing your insurance savings, that can give you $12,000 to $15,000 in purchasing power on your home in your payment, because that money's not going to insurance, it's going to the value of your new home. The third thing that we'd like to talk about in the sum of the parts approach to home ownership is the cost of of the fees related to obtaining your mortgage or to securing your mortgage. And what we mean by the fees related to securing the mortgage are not the fees that are charged by the lender up front, but actually the monthly fees for mortgage insurance or the FHA premium for mortgage insurance. And what these insurance fees do is that they insure the lender against default. So they have no benefit to you whatsoever. So what we try and do is we try and buy, with our buying your home and several of the other things, and we have a program where we pay some of your closing costs and these things. What we try and do is structure the deal in such a way that we optimize the transaction to reduce these fees to make them as low as possible. One of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of, I think everybody is aware of, that we're in a period here right now in the United States where we have the lowest mortgage rates in history. But what a lot of people are not aware of is we're also in a period in the United States where we have the highest mortgage insurance and the highest FHA fee in history as well. So while mortgage rates are historically low, the cost to insure a loan against default is historically high. And there are several things that we can do in how we structure your deal and how we look at it that we can either eliminate or substantially reduce these fees. And this can equate to as much as $200 to $250 a month in your payment, and frankly can equate to as much as $60,000, $70,000 in purchasing power. So that same money that goes to insuring you against, frankly, nothing could be going towards equity in your home. The fourth item that we look at in regard to our sum of the parts approach to the transactions of acquiring a new home would be your mortgage interest, the actual interest rate that you're paying. And here at B&M Asset, we pay a percentage of every transaction towards you, the purchaser's closing cost. And in many times, this will allow us, or allow you as the buyer, to lower your interest rate by buying it down. And depending on what your objectives are and your long-term objective, and how long you plan on living in your home and things like that, these are things that we can look at and see if this makes sense for you. The fifth piece to the puzzle in the sum of the parts approach to obtaining a new home is the property taxes. And unfortunately, I can't help. The sixth aspect of the sum of the parts approach that we look at is the sale of your current home, or what we refer to as the exit property. And again, this is one of the things that we, as far as we know of, we're the only company in the nation that offer this program, but we actually will purchase your existing home. And the way this process works is we will contract an independent appraiser to do an appraisal on your existing home. We offer you typically between 94 and 97% of the appraised value for your home. But our offer is a net offer, and what that means is that's net to the seller. There's no fees, there's no commissions, that's what you get. And in many times, people find that they will come out substantially ahead than had they sold their home, paid fees, especially when you take into consideration the idea of moving twice, just the time value and the value of your time. And this is one of the most, what our customers tell us is one of the most desirable things about doing business with us. And one of the other things, the areas that this can really enhance the transaction in, is it allows the homeowner access to the equity in their home without greatly depleting it. Because in so many circumstances, somebody can have a large equity in a home, and then by the time they put it on the market, they move twice, they pay a lot of fees, a lot of commissions, it gets so depleted that they've lost their purchasing power. And as I talked about before, in regard to mortgage insurance and things like that, the more that you can maintain that equity, the more purchasing power that you have, for a lot of reasons, not just for the reason of the down payment, but it can have a huge effect in the mortgage insurance. And that is one of the big factors that we really try and look at and help you with. One of the exciting facets of our exit purchase program, or our purchasing the customer's current home, and one thing that we've seen many of our customers take advantage of, is the fact that they don't have to use all of their equity for the down payment on the new home. A lot of our customers have been in their homes for a long time. They have large equities, and especially with rates as historically low as they are, so we find that several of our customers will sell us their new home, and they'll keep a portion of that equity, and they may pay off credit card debt that they've accumulated over the years, or helping their kids go through college, or a number of things. And it can be a good financial move and a way of realigning or resetting some financial clocks for them. We've seen a lot of our customers take advantage of this opportunity. The seventh aspect to the sum of the parts approach it concerns the fees related to the sale of your home. And I touched on this briefly a moment ago, but I'll reiterate it because a lot of people want clarification on this. When we purchase your home, there are no fees related to it. We get a fee paid appraisal on the property through a third-party appraiser. Typically, our allowance is anywhere from 94 to 97% of that amount, and that's it. There are no fees. There are no closing costs. That's what you get. So this can be a huge impact on the whole transaction and allow you a lot more money that can be applied to the equity of your new home. The eighth and final aspect to the sum of the parts approach is, frankly, the time value of money. And what we mean by this is just, what is your time worth? This is one of the things that many of our customers are the feedback that we hear that they're the most excited about in our approaches is the whole package and how much time it saves them, and being able to come in and complete all of the transactions at one place.